A very good morning, good evening, good afternoon from wherever you are tuned into the hot spot. It is time to talk Man United as we do build up to that huge one. Manchester United visiting the Craven Cottage to take on Fulham in what is expected to be a high pressure game. But the result for United can only be one. A win, and a convincing one at that, is the only thing United supporters and naysayers will be hoping to see. Certainly, it is not going to come on a silver platter for United, and Eric Ten Hag should know. Well, there is some good news in the camp as we do count down to that one. It's an early kick-off game. 3:30 p.m. is the time it kicks off, of course, in most parts of the world, but depending on where you are, of course, that time varies. But for me, it will be 3:30 p.m. Tell me in your time zone what time will that game be kicking off. But anyhow, for me, the most important thing to talk about now in that game is how Eric Ten Hag is going to assemble his troops to take on a Fulham that is stubborn, coached by one of the better emerging managers in Marco Silva. I'll tell you, they might be 14th and quite a couple of places away from Man United on the log, but they are not a beating stock. They can give us a proper run for their money. They were able to get a draw against Brighton, and that tells you a lot about their credentials and how decent they are as a team. But what exactly should Manchester United do to take care of Fulham in what is a high pressure game for Eric Ten Hag, who is without a win, two losses at Old Trafford consecutively against Newcastle United, but first against Manchester City? So away from Man United, away from Manchester to London, do they bring the party on? So this is for me what I expect. But of course, just to tell you, to remind you that Man United is lying 8th on the pile. We've got a mere 15 points, whereas Fulham are 14th. They have got 12 points to their credit, so we are just 3 points ahead of them. That shouldn't excite us so much because it shows you they are not really the easiest of teams. They are a stubborn lot as well. But for me, big boost for United is that Kobbie Mainoo is back in the team. Now, I watched his highlights playing for the under-21s against Salford City. He assisted twice as Man United lost 4-3. It was an interesting game. This boy has a huge passing range. Yeah, his passing range is different. It's decent. But also, his his physique and mobility in the middle of the park. He goes everywhere. He's not afraid to take on spaces, go and try out things, go for long passes, one twos, short passes, go out wide in the middle. In the final third, he is such a complete entertaining midfielder, almost box to box. You love to see him play. And for me, I expect nothing short of Kobbie Mainoo starting this game. And that is why I will re-emphasize my predicted lineup for this game, being that with Kobbie Mainoo, the anchorman, the pivot for Manchester United, on which Amrabat and company should be spinning. Now, Eric Ten Hag spoke in the press conference before, in the pre-match press conference, a lot about his philosophy, trying to re-explain it to the asking media, because everyone has been questioning what Manchester United plays. What is our identity? We seem to be building one in the last season, his first season in charge, but lately, this season, trust you me, you will struggle to find any expert who can explain to you what exactly Eric Ten Hag is trying to play with his United troops. Now, his explanation, he spoke about, of course, the high pressing from different blocks and passing from behind. He did not bring Andre Onana to just be shooting long direct balls. He wants to pass from behind and build play. That is why Andre Onana and obviously Harry Maguire should be important players in his system. But does he have the full team to execute his philosophy? Of course, he works lyrical about the likes of Scott McTominay and Bruno, and of course Rasmus Hojlund, Marcus Rashford, Anthony having what it takes to play the way he wants to play, and also the ball passers like Christian Eriksen balancing up the team, and defenders like Wan Bissaka and all. I mean, he gave try to justify himself, and I hate to see Eric Ten Hag explaining himself day in and day out to the media. It shows you he's under pressure, because a manager who is oozing confidence will not answer certain questions from the media. They will feel like, I don't have to explain a lot to you. Just watch. I'm working. I know. I trust what I'm doing. But it looks like for me, Eric Ten Hag's desperate explanations sort of expose him. But that said, I think there is hope, and I love the fact that he seems to have the full support and backing of the board. The issue, though, is that the certain players don't seem to be so happy about what Erik Ten Hag has been doing, the way he has handled certain situations and certain players. So seems to be a shake-up in the dressing room. There seems to be an uneasiness. It is said that Ten Hag actually has been calling players and staff of Manchester United one by one to try and have conversations with them about what issues they could be having with him. He feels probably, like I said here, maybe people are not entirely working for him. So it's a whole mess going on in there. But let's focus on this one. Fulham, that's being our next opponent. So for me, that's the lineup again I would stick to. I would predict Rafael Varane, he confirmed he's back in the team. So I expect him to start this game. I don't see Erik Ten Hag trying to be too smart again. I think I would be disappointed in him. I think Varane should be starting the game in that defense alongside Harry Maguire. Calmness of Varane, but also the passing range and organization of Harry Maguire. When Harry Maguire is playing good, he's probably one of our better defenders. Then on the left, Sergio Reguilon should be obviously starting. Lindelof. Ten Hag spoke about Lindelof being doubted a bit for the game, so I don't see him there. Wan-Bissaka starting on the right, he returned, so he should be fit enough to start. We are slowly having our players back, of course, despite some of them leaving, like Casemiro, who is injured. You feel those who are returning, and most importantly for me, Kobbie Mainoo. And I'll tell you again to re-emphasize why Kobbie Mainoo is the player I'm focusing more on. One of the biggest problems United has had and why Erik Ten Hag's style is not performing is because we've lacked a solid midfielder who makes us look impenetrable. If someone solid who sits in that midfield, that number 6 position, and gives us a certain firmness for the other players who are mostly ball players, attack minded, to freely express themselves. Now, I insist that that player can no longer be Casemiro. Kobbie Mainoo might be young and inexperienced, but you are inexperienced by being there. You can't buy it, you can't fake it, you can't it can't come as magic. It has got to happen by you getting the chances. Now, after him returning and playing just a couple of games and having 90 minutes in his feet, I think he's good enough to start. And I may not expect him to play the full 90 minutes, but I expect Kobbie Mainoo to be starting this game. I don't want to see Erik Ten Hag going for Scott McTominay together with Eriksen or Scott and Amrabat when Kobbie Mainoo is in the team, because he traveled with the squad for this game. So for me, that's the first change, the biggest change I should be seeing in that game. Now, Ten Hag seems to be backing Marcus Rashford to come back to his goal scoring ways. He scored 30 goals, assisted 11 last season. It has been a torrid, poor start for him, but Ten Hag has been backing him. So obviously, my predicted 11 might not be accurate. Maybe when the squads are confirmed, when the starting squad is confirmed, most likely Marcus Rashford will be where you see Alejandro Garnacho. But the rest, most likely, will be so. But it's just a few to confirmation of the lineups, and of course, the game kicks off early. These early kickoffs are not always so good for Manchester United, and people will tell you of jinx and jinxes and all. They don't work well for us as United, I think, historically. But I don't think, I mean, for a team like Fulham, I mean, we've won some, but they are always interesting games, so you always expect both teams to score. It's going to be I think a more entertaining game. I expect Rasmus Højlund to turn up. I expect more from Bruno Fernandes. He looked decent coming off the bench in the last game. So for me, I feel there is a lot. To be honest, I don't feel any form of pressure. I feel like Erik Ten Hag and the players have got it now. I think they've tried to put a few things right in the dressing room, and we can only see that on the pitch. So Kobbie Mainoo starts alongside Amrabat. Bruno as a number 10, or Christian Eriksen, whoever he puts in number 10. I feel for me is going to be a decent enough change for us United to go on and hope for a victory against Fulham United. But what exactly do you think? Fulham, like I said, is not easy. It's not easy at all. So it's going to be an interesting, tough game. But what do you expect? Give me your honest prediction in the comment section. I'll be back later. My name is Webb. It's the Hot Spot, and it's match day. We do return. Fulham, Man United. My prediction, I think Manchester United is going to win this one, and I've really been getting them wrong. I mean, haven't I? But I will be consistent. I will not predict against my team. It's not happening. Whereas I think it's going to be a tough game for United, I think we will win it. I think we will win it, and I think we'll play better and more calmly. I don't think players are going to be under pressure. I feel like some things have been managed back end. and we'll see a reflection of that on the pitch. Players taking more initiative is what we expect to see. Better performance and a better result. We are not losing to Fulham. Not happening. Hotspot, subscribe. If we lose to Fulham, I am going to do my next video without a shirt. Yeah. If we lose to Fulham, I'm doing my next video without a shirt. Okay. Did I say that? Bye-bye. Subscribe. Catch you later.